work remotely and move to Okinawa.
Right now we have about 30 volunteers.
Or long life herb, because if you eat a stalk, your lifespan will extend by a day, apparently.
Okinawa's people very, very kindly.
Where are you from?
I'm Italian.
I'm from Australia.
I am from Florida.
I'm from Taiwan,
Taiwan.
Taipei.
Taipei. What brought you to Okinawa?
Yeah, so basically I lived in Tokyo for 1 year, 6 years ago, and I really liked the country. I mean, actually, the first time that I visited Japan was roughly 10 years ago, and I thought I wanted to move here. So roughly 6 years ago, I moved to Tokyo. I spent a year there, and I really loved it. And then I basically tried to look for a way to move to Japan. And while I was doing that, I was try to start businesses. I launched 4 different businesses that never really worked. All of them failed. And basically my goal was to have something where like I could work remotely and move to Okinawa. Because I think I'd read an Ikigai book or something, and I was like, okay, this is the place where I want to move to. And so really moving to Okinawa has been like my main motivation for business for the past 5 years. It's literally the screensaver on my laptop. It's the picture of Naminoe. Sure.
And what brought you to Okinawa?
Before Okinawa, I was living in Tokyo, where firstly I was a fine dining manager at the private club called Tokyo American Club. Then breaking away from that, I had my first ever company here in Japan with a buddy, executive chef of mine named Kevin Connell. We had a restaurant consulting and development business called Sangdavi, based in Tokyo, where we would go around and revamp failing restaurants, try to make them more successful. That business didn't go so well, and it was about, I'd been in Japan for about 10 years at that time. Before that I'd lived in Osaka and then Gunma, and so Tokyo was my third main city, and I was kind of getting a little homesick. I just had my first, actually two daughters. They were just babies, and looking for a change. Obviously not feeling so great about having lost all my money in this failed business, and so we started looking at somewhere else to go and set up for a new life. And Okinawa came up on our radar, and it was right around this time that I got headhunted to come down to Okinawa to open the Kafu resort up there in Onna village. That's what brought me to Okinawa. I worked there for 5 years, and then went freelance again and built a resort tourism hospitality based consulting company called Ryukyu World Office, and which is still alive today and still active, but my focus is obviously on the ocean and turtles.
What brought you to Okinawa?
So I first thought to come to Okinawa when I was studying abroad in Tokyo, which I first thought to do when I was studying at the University of Florida. So first I was at the University of Florida, and I was really interested in Japan and health. And then I studied abroad in Tokyo. And then when I was there, I realized that there is a place called the Longevity Island, and I was interested in learning more. So I came to Okinawa to get my master's degree at one of the University of Ryukyu's in Okinawa.
You knew what Okinawa is when you were in Tokyo?
That's when I first heard of it, yeah, but I didn't know about it when I was in America. Like, no one ever really talks about Okinawa. Yeah.
So what was your master's about?
So I got my master's degree in the agriculture department at the University of Ryukyu's. It was in subtropical. So Okinawa is not tropical, it's subtropical. Subtropical fields topic, and I specialize in a Okinawan plant called chomeiso, or long life herb, because if you eat a stalk, your lifespan will extend by a day, apparently. It's in the agriculture department, and this is what we studied, right? So you got asa, seaweed, umibudo, sea grapes, mozoku seaweed, juicy rice. All of this is what we would go over in the agriculture department. And then of that, I specifically specialized in long life herb, which unfortunately did not up here today. It's a very rare herb. It's rarely used in Okinawan food anymore. A lot of people don't know about it. It's everywhere though. If we go walk outside, I can find chomeso in like 2 minutes. Chomeso is just Okinawa.
Indigenous. What brought you to here?
4 years ago, translator is Okinawa's company. One more reason is the dog. I have a dog. He just passed away 6 months ago. He also lived in Okinawa 3 years, and both of us like the beach. We moved to Okinawa because of this beautiful beach.
What do you do now?
So now I have my own business here. I have basically a remote business. My clients are from all over the world. What I do, I basically work as a consultant, and I get more clients through LinkedIn. Basically, I mostly work with other consultants, solopreneurs, and small business owners.
What do you do now?
What do I do? So I founded and manage the Okinawa Coastal Protection Alliance, also called OKPA or CPA. And inside of that, one of our main projects is protecting Okinawan sea turtles. And our project name is Churamura. We're a non-profit organization supported solely by community support. And right now we have about 30 volunteers who are in the office, out in the field every day, researching and protecting sea turtles. So a big part of protecting sea turtles is keeping the ocean clean. So beach cleaning and removing dangerous ghost nets from the ocean is also a big part of our mission, along with obviously education, community outreach, getting the local people involved and trying to, leave the ocean in a better place for the next generation.
So what types of products are you serving?
So my first product was Okinawan dark brown sugar, or black sugar, which is very specific to Okinawa. Very cool sugar. The sugar made in Okinawa cannot be found in the States. The States makes their sugar super processed, whereas here in Okinawa it has a lot of vitamins and minerals because they don't process it. And then also this one, there's a component inside of it called fukoidan. And then if you take fukoidan supplements, it's actually really good for cancer is the number one thing that people buy fukoidan supplements for. And also blood pressure. It's really good for blood pressure. And then it's also anti-aging, anti-inflammatory. There's so many benefits to fukoidan. And Okinawans just eat it like the seaweed as is. And Americans don't like seaweed. They're always like, ooh, seaweed, it's slimy and gross, but it tastes good. I think it tastes good. You just have to prepare it right. And fukoidan is like one of the most amazing components I've ever researched in my life. So I'm making a fukoidan supplement right now, actually.
Oh.
It'll be out in 2 weeks.
Oh,
Fukoidan supplement.
amazing.
Yeah. And then sampin jasmine tea, Okinawan jasmine tea, and a herbal blend tea. So I've got sugar, and then a supplement, and then more teas coming out, and then after that it'll be more and more and more. But right now that's the plan.
What do you do now?
Actually, I'm a coffee barista. And I also do some foreign trading. Export some coffee beans roasted by Japanese roaster and Japanese tea, and some Okinawa's items like the brown sugar and shikuwasa.
You are doing barista in Okinawa?
In Taipei.
In Taipei.
Sometimes in Okinawa. Actually, from February 23rd in Paluco, Okinawa's Paluco, we have some event. I will make the overpour coffee in Paluco. Hangdo drip, some Taiwanese coffee.
Oh, nice. What visa are you here under now?
Yeah. So I'm currently on a tourist visa. Basically, I'm gonna get out of the country to get another 90 days period to stay here. But I'm looking to get a business visa. So I'm actually opening a business in Okinawa.
What visa or residential status are you?
Right now I'm a permanent resident. Been here for about 25 years, so I've been through the whole spectrum of visa statuses, right? Came on as a student, and then as a working holiday, and then when I went to Kindai University, I was a student again. I got employed in my first real company after graduating, and so that was a business visa. And then I got married and changed to a spouse visa, and then it was about that time that I applied for permanent residency, and it was granted very quickly because, you know, I had the education background, I was financially independent, and been here for about 10 years, and so that was a pretty easy transition for me to get the PR, and now it's permanent. I never have to change that.
So what visa are you here under?
Manager. I have the company in Okinawa, in Yomitan, trading company.
So after you graduated from University of the Ryukyus, what made you decide to stay in Okinawa?
So when I was studying, I realized I didn't want to work for a Japanese company. A lot of them are not nice, they're not kind. They're really hard to work at, right? You work in the morning, you work at night, everyone's exhausted. I knew I wasn't going to be happy. So I made the leap and decided to make my own company. I wanted to be in Okinawa. I wanted to research longevity more and work with the plants and teas and all the products. There was no company in Okinawa that was doing what I wanted to do, and naturally, to solve that problem, I make my own company. So I make a company I want to work at. So that's why I decided to I got ready to make the company before I graduated. And then once I graduated, I submitted all the paperwork, and at the same time had to balance registering for my business visa, right? Because I was on a student visa, so I had to get a business visa. And it was a ton of paperwork, a lot of driving, a lot of work. It was scary because I didn't know if I was gonna get the visa, or they're gonna be like, no, go home. It was tough.
So what pushed you to do that?
I think it's my personality and my the way I think. I can be quiet. I wasn't crazy, controlling, power hungry, but I knew deep down that I really wanted to build something, and I needed to build it from scratch myself in order to do it the correct way. So I think, I don't know, maybe I was born like this. It was intuition, my intuition to do it. I didn't think too hard. I just decided, this is what I'm doing, go. I didn't should I do this? And I spent many months, and then I was going back and forth. Once I decided, it was yes, I'm doing this, we're going. And then I got the paperwork. I started telling people, hey, when I graduate, I'm gonna start a company. What do you think? I'm really excited. And 95% of people would say, no, Crystal, no. It's not gonna be successful. It's gonna be too hard. You need to work for a Japanese company. And people were really negative. It was really depressing, actually.
Right.
And people would say they support me, but they didn't really actually support me. But now people are impressed that I didn't give up, because it was just persistence, being persistent, and consistent. So those people telling me that I couldn't do it was more motivation, though, to do my best, try my hardest, and succeed. I haven't succeeded exactly yet, but...
Is the process of opening a business in Okinawa hard, or does it take time?
Yeah, that's a really good question. No, it's actually pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Since I came here, before coming to Okinawa, I was in Bali. And in Bali, it's very easy to, access information. Hey, how do I get a visa? How do I open a business? Where should I move to? But since in Okinawa, there's really no international community that is, unrelated to the military. At least I'm pretty sure there is, but it's not that accessible as in Bali, for example. It's actually pretty tough to even find a lawyer that will speak both English and Japanese that could really guide me through the best way to get a visa here. I found it, and we're going through the process now. I'm possibly launching a business in Okinawa that is unrelated to my current business, and that would be my way to get a visa. But yeah, no, it's definitely not easy. Yeah. I'm sure there is a network here, and I've been organizing events. I've been connecting with as many people as I can here in Okinawa, as many business people as I can. But there is not an accessible business community where you just join an event and you meet other people like you that are running a business here in Okinawa. Mostly because it's not easily accessible. Okinawa as an island is not easily accessible to, for example, digital nomads, right? For people like me to have remote businesses, there's no visa for us. So it's you have to find your own way to get a visa, even though I heard that possibly in April Okinawa is releasing a what's called a startup visa that will make the process easier for people like me. But no, it's not exactly easy to do that. But that's why like I have a partner here in Okinawa, and we are organizing events, like business events, to build a community basically.
Is it fun to work in Okinawa?
It's fun to live in Okinawa. You know, the business community is quite unique, I think, you know, compared to Tokyo and Osaka and the big cities where, you know, opportunity is just knocking at you every day. People, especially being a bilingual foreigner, everyone wants to work with you, everyone wants to throw money at you, and life was, even though we didn't have such great success, the opportunity was there to do wonderful things. But Okinawa is very different in the fact that it's quite a struggle. When I first got here, I thought it similar to like the Wild West. Mikaitaku, it's very undeveloped. There's a lot of the things that should be atarimae or taken for granted on the mainland don't really exist here. And so anyone with an entrepreneurial mind could set up something quite easily. Setting up is quite easy. It's surviving down here in this business environment, which is, I can imagine, very challenging for many people, especially if they don't have the cultural language background to fall back on, as well as the social networks of engaging with the locals to support you, of course. Being foreigners and even mainlanders immigrating down here, they don't have the family support, right? So it's hard to just drop your kids off at your grandparents' place and say, hey, take care of them for a while. You don't have the social networks people get from growing up in this community. So you're really on your own down here in Okinawa. Obviously, being a foreigner, you're always in that situation. But my wife, coming down here from Kansai, she found it difficult. And I hear that most spouses have a hard time settling into Okinawan lifestyle. Like I said, it's a great place to live, but to work, you really need to find a niche in whatever business you're looking for. And we just don't have the population down here. There's not a lot of affluent people who want to become angel investors, for example, and really just support you financially. So there are many challenges.
While you do business in Okinawa, you have to communicate with local Okinawans, to export the brown sugar and shikosa and other coffee beans as well. Is it hard or?
Not really hard because Okinawa's people very, very kindly. It's not really hard to take the communication with the Japanese because I can speak Japanese. And I have been in Japanese university and graduates in Japan.
How is it like to, run a business in Okinawa?
It was hard at first because I was doing something no one's ever done before. So I had to figure out problems by myself. I did have a mentor who helped me a little bit. But he was doing a completely different business, so he couldn't help me completely. So it was a lot of trial and error. And I'm still learning Japanese. Like, I was good at Japanese, but still not business Japanese. So I would make mistakes on the phone all the time. I remember one mistake I made, I'll never forget it. I was ordering tea to sell in the States. I was ordering sanpin tea. And I said, instead of 商品を取りに行きます, I said, 迎えに行きます.
Oh.
And the lady was like, I'm not going with you.
That's kind
of
it's confusing, right?
I was so embarrassed, yeah. Keigo, right, Japanese formal language for business, is a different level.
Right.
I would learn how to do emails like, お世話になっております。はいたい株式会社のクリスタルと申します。Like to do all the emails and the phone calls and then taxes. I'm learning how to do my yearly report, kesansho.
All in Japanese.
All in Japanese. So I did it, but it was a learning process. But I did it. Like, it's not. I had the will, the motivation to do it. So if you have the will and motivation to do it, anyone can do it. You just need to study and take risks. Like, that was embarrassing when I saw on the phone. Like, super embarrassing. But it is what it is. If sometimes I would get scared to go to stores. Like, I would just get anxiety because I'm not used to it. So what if I listened to that anxiety and never went to the store? Then I would never progress my business and I wouldn't be where I am today, but I pushed myself. I understand that it can be nerve-wracking to walk into a Japanese business looking like a foreigner, but you just gotta try and you gotta do it. And some people were mean, not mean, but they would be like, no, we don't, no, get out of here. And then some people would be super nice and be like, yes, Krista, of course, yeah, we'd love to work, let's eat food, yeah, you know. So just try. There's no harm in trying.
Do you have any message for somebody who wants to come to Okinawa to do probably business especially?